It shouldn't be a very long webinar, as we're only covering one feature set, so that will leave additional time at the end for questions. We will go ahead and get started here. This webinar assumes that you have gone through the introduction of Prospect Now. The purpose of the Contact Manager is to help you organize data that you already have, had interactions with, made calls out to, and the goal of the Contact Manager is to help you organize that and create follow-up activity for those, for those specific records. So I'm just going to quickly build a search that we can then save a few records into the Contact Manager from. So bear with me while I do that. I'm just using our guided search. This is covered in the introduction of Prospect Now, but it helps you narrow down to a specific set of properties. And I'm just going to kind of breeze through it here. All right.
But David, you're going to have control over who can do what, and I can help you do this on the back end. So if you don't want everybody to see.
Okay, so then we go through these different results. Okay, so now we've done our property search, and we can then go through these various records and contact these owners. I'm actually going to refine this just a little bit. Let me take this. That's actually not what I meant to do. I meant to do number of units, not number of properties owned. So when you have your search set up, you are going to have a couple of different ways that you can save it to the Contact Manager. So let's say I will use this example as a record, 330 Ventura Avenue, owned by Adam and Eleonora Levin. To save this record to the Contact Manager, there's 3 places you can do that. You can, I'm going to start from the top, you can click this floppy disk here. That will add it to the Contact Manager. You can see that it's checked off by default. Down here to the left of the record, same thing, click on Save, and you'll notice that we have the same option to save to the Contact Manager. You can also, if you look up a phone number using the Get Phone button, the option to save will be listed there as well. So we press Save, and you'll notice we have the same options. The only difference between this method and the floppy disk or the save link is that we've got a call result option. So because we're making a phone call, we can mark that as either a contact or not a contact, and that's going to play into some aspects of the Contact Manager that track activity. So that's the only, but other than that option, there's no difference between saving, from here or here versus the Get Phone. When you're in this window, you are able to take notes. So we could say we spoke with owner, call back next month. At this point, before we still have not placed the record into the Contact Manager. To do so, we would press Save. We could also press Add Task, Add Appointment, or Add to Group. Any one of these options will place the record in the Contact Manager. These 3, Add Task, Add Appointment, and Add to Group, will, in addition to saving the record to the Contact Manager, will conduct another activity as well. So, for instance, if I simply press Save at this point, this record will be transported to the Contact Manager, and I could then go into the Contact Manager and follow up from there. If I click on Add Task or Add Appointment or Add to Group, it will also save the record to the Contact Manager, but it will also, in this case, it would add a task. It'll ask me for, it'll ask me for various, to-do information such as a due date, the exact nature of the task. Adding an appointment would do the same thing, except it would give me an appointment date and the ability to set reminders. The Contact Manager also allows you to have groups within the Contact Manager for organizational purposes. So you could add a record directly to a group within your contact manager by clicking this button. That's what I'm going to do for this example. So when I click Add to Group, you can see my existing groups. I can also create a new group. So I've got a callback next week, but I will place him, this particular record, in the callback next month group that I'm about to add. So I click Add. I now have that group in my contact manager, and then I can select it. Oops, wrong one. Select it to add this particular record for 332 Ventura into my contact manager. Okay, so we've got a record from our property search in the contact manager, and when we go to the contact manager for follow-up, you'll notice there's a number of different options we can look at. You've got My Properties, My Tenants, Property Groups, and Tenant Groups. Those are the first items I'm going to go over. They're all very closely related. Prospect now has two search features. It's got a property search and a tenant search, and you're able to save records from either method. If you save records from a tenant search, they're going to be found in My Tenants. Groups that you have created within My Tenants are found here under tenant groups. My Properties is where any records that you've saved from the property search will be. And then if you add any records from the property search to a group, they're going to be your property groups. Pretty straightforward. So if I click on My Properties, it's going to take me to my contact manager. I've only got a couple of records saved here, so you can see them here. If I had 10,000 records saved to my contact manager, then hopefully I'm using groups to keep those organized, because the point of this is to help you navigate the data faster, not have to scroll through 1,000 records to figure out who you want to call back next month. So I've got a group called Callback Next Month. I can just click on View Groups. These are my property groups. I can select View, and now this is the record we've just saved, Adam Levin. I can take any, I can do my follow-up activity from there. So on the tenant side, same concept here. Let me just save a record very quickly. So let's say I want to save San Jose Medical Clinic, Inc. to my contact manager. I'll add an appointment in this case, just so you see some of the differences. So it's saved in my contact manager, subject, we can call it meeting, whatever you want to set up here. We've got our due date, due time. Probably should make this for a different date. So let's say tomorrow at 11 a.m. I can have the ability to set a reminder, and I can have the appointment repeat if I need to, and press save. So now, when I go to My Tenants, because I've saved this record from the tenant search, I should have San Jose Medical Group, or Medical Clinic right there. And if I click on also Contact Manager and I go down to my appointments, I look at tomorrow, I've got a meeting for San Jose Medical Clinic. So it all kind of ties together there. And if you ever want to go just directly to your groups, property groups or tenant groups, you'll be able to get directly there by clicking on that option. So I can get back to my Callback Next Month on the property search. Pretty simple. Now some other features of the Prospect the Prospect Now Contact Manager are the ability to track your activities, set goals for your activity, as well as create a pipeline. So we'll talk about that next. The activity options allow you to set daily, weekly, or monthly goals. Actually, daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly goals. So you can see I've got my dials goal set at 25 a day. I've looked up 4 phone numbers today, so that's why it's saying 4 contacts goal that I've set for myself. You can set the goals right over here. So a whole kind of process here that's based on, based on what your goals are. The ability of successful people to be successful has to do with the fact that they're able to set goals and meet them. So I highly encourage you to utilize this feature and keep yourself accountable in your prospecting so that you can have, stellar results. So if your goal is, if it's five dials a day, 10 dials a day, 100 dials a day, whatever it is, just set that goal and do your best to meet it. The pipeline, which I can get to here, the pipeline allows you to add property records or tenant records to a specific sales stage. And so you would, let's say there's an opportunity that you have, you can click on opportunity, and then you've got your different stages of the sale, right, whether it's a lead to an appointment to a proposal, listing, contract, closed. You can select the contacts from your contact manager. So let's say I have a lead, right, for Adam Levin, and at this point I think it automatically assigns a probability of closing based on the stage that you set, or based on your own selection. So I guess you would just use your gut there, based on the property they own, and then whatever valuation that you have. You don't have to have it. You can just save it as a blank and come back to it later. So now I've got this opportunity in my pipeline, and you can follow up with those high-value opportunities very easily by being able to prioritize based on these various sales steps. And if you want to have a different set of sales steps, you can customize them. This is just the default template, but you can always create a new template. Maybe you're maybe you're like John in our sales team, and it's he just has one step, and that's close. So you can create steps, right? Call, add another step, close, whatever fits for your model and your business and your goals. So I guess my point is you don't have to, if you want to have your own pipeline stages, you are able to do that. The task manager and the note manager are also found here. So your tasks, you might have noticed some that you can save, add task, add appointment, or add to group when you're saving a record. Any tasks that you add will be shown here. So these will be all your to-dos, and if you want to add new ones, you're certainly able to. The note manager, any notes that you take are tracked here. So if you ever want to find a note that you've saved, you can come in here, and maybe you just remember, I remember that guy's name was Levin. Maybe it's not what it's, maybe that doesn't work like that. Let's say, I think it searches the note text. Sorry about that. So let's say I want to say, I took a note to call that guy back next month. And then, so it searches the text of the note, not the context. So that's why it didn't show up for us the first time. So the notes manager is there. And those you can get directly to those from the contact manager menu. Task manager takes us to the same tab we were just on. Notes manager is right there. So those are the various components of the contact manager. I'm going to show you one other way that you can quickly add things to the contact manager. I know that there are some power users of Prospect now that this is kind of how they exclusively use the system. So I'll show you, maybe something that would work for you as well. So let's say I want to go through all of these, but maybe I don't want to press save next to each one. If you would like to, there's another view that you can go through each of these results individually on. If you click on so first you would click on the very top record, or wherever you want to start. Then you would click on the name of the owner on title underneath the owner tab. Or you can click on the property address, wherever it's highlighted in blue up here. Either one's fine. They both go to the same place, which is the Prospect Now detailed property view. So when I am taken to this page, it gives me kind of an exploded view of this individual property, which was the very first one in our search results. So it gives me all the same options. I can see the sales history. I can see the tenants. I can look up the phone number, do all that. But then I've got all my various contact manager options on one page. So I can add notes, add it to a group, add it to a specific stage in the pipeline, create tasks or appointments, all from one page without having to go back and forth from the search to the contact manager and so on and so forth. So that is a very, I think, easy way to kind of tie in the actual prospecting portion as well as the contact manager features without having to kind of jump from the search to the contact manager back and forth. Because what you can do is in this search you could literally cycle through each property, get the phone number, right, save it, and take any notes for the property that you want, all from one page. So a very handy tool, and I know a lot of our power users, this is exclusively how they use Prospect now. So it may work for you as well, and I encourage you to try it. That is going to conclude my agenda for covering the features of the Contact Manager. So at this point, I'd like to open it up to any questions that you may have about the Contact Manager or about Prospect Now in general. So I will make myself available for any questions. If you want to just send them through the chat box there, I'm happy to address them.